Happy Monday, my Monday friends. I hope you had a great weekend. I did, huh? So big news over at National Public Radio, which may be the first time anyone's ever said that. They announced they're launching a disinformation reporting team featuring journalists whose expertise apparently is fake news. Well, that must have been hard to find. Every journalist these days is an expert on fake news. It's like saying a French bulldog is an expert on farting. It's all they do. Something about their flat faces. I don't know. But it's good to see NPR finally realizing the necessity of policing fake news. Sort of like a drug addict checking himself into rehab. You know, admitting you have a problem. NPR is the first step, so good for you. But will their first investigation be of themselves? This tweet from NPR itself, right before the 2020 election. Here, NPR asks why you haven't seen stories from them about the New York Post story on Hunter Biden, which the paper broke a month or so before the 2020 election. As you know, the story was flushed down a toilet like an ounce of crack when cops kick in Hunter's front door. Debating whether to reread that.
They got it.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday. I have a lot on my mind. Yeah, so they buried the story only to resurface it later when Hunter's dad was safely transported to the Oval Office like a mannequin to a storefront window. And unlike Joe trying to complete a handshake, the whole thing worked perfectly. This is NPR's explanation for not covering the story. Quote, "We don't want to waste our time on stories that aren't really stories. And we don't want to waste listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions." Well, if that were the case, then what would be left? A segment on the challenges of trans folk singers in the Himalayas? Which is just more evidence of the white patriarchy at work. It's funny, in an urgent moment when news is vital, no one's ever yelled, "Quick, put on NPR!" Unless it's to put a patient to sleep for emergency surgery. But how thoughtful of them. Yeah, apparently NPR was doing people a favor by filtering out stories that might disturb them. But they really weren't filtering at all. They were blocking, cherry-picking, censoring, then acting as if it was a favor to you, pulling that tote bag over your head and saying, "It's for your own good, sister." Here you got the biggest, most consequential story of the election season, and they buried it like a mouthy hitchhiker in the desert. Wouldn't shut up. They called something fake news when it's real and assumed no one would call them on it, which for the most part, they were right. But they knew they had to do their part to protect old Joe as his campaign wobbled into the White House like a rascal scooter with two bad wheels. And that's not a mistake or disinformation or Joe reading the name-branded warranty info off his teleprompter. It's called lying, and NPR did it to influence an election. I wonder what happened, though, behind closed doors.
Okay, boss, I've got some story pitches for you. Let me know what you think. Hunter Biden weighing crack with a hooker.
Yeah.
No? How about Hunter Biden with 2 hookers and a dog?
Doesn't feel like a story to me.
All right, I see where you're going with this. How about Hunter Biden in a tank smoking crack while touching himself?
Jerry, let's just pick stories how we always do, with the cheese singles.
Non-binary indigenous patio furniture?
Well, there's a story.
I'll go write it up.
Thank you.
That's how it's done. All right. So now they start a disinformation bureau, but of course the only disinfo they're going to focus on is the stuff that flows only in one direction, and that would be from right to left. Because if they didn't, wouldn't they first address the hidden Hunter story right out of the gate? Well, unless you enjoy turning blue and rendering yourself unconscious, don't hold your minty fresh breath. We actually contacted NPR to find out if they would, and we got nothing but an automated email in response. I guess NPR stands for no professional response.
Got a clever-ass audience tonight.
Yes. Yeah. But I get why. NPR's attempt at fact-checking is no different than all the other jokers who claim to fact-check as they let more whoppers slide through, like Brian Stelter's digestive tract. Meanwhile, they'll chase down memes by private citizens or dox them for making jokes, or worse, telling the truth. Yep, after an exhaustive investigation, we found that there really was no cat holding on to a tree branch saying, "Hang in there." We also found no evidence that there is a frog named Peppy. Meanwhile, I've been doing my own experiment with fact checkers. In the last week alone, I've deliberately mentioned that Dr. Jill is a medical doctor. And not a single correction from the fact checkers. I'm serious. Means I'm gonna go ahead with having her remove my gallbladder. It was nice knowing you folks. But I keep waiting for the Washington Post or PolitiFact or anyone to call me on it, but they don't. And why? Because even though I made it up, it's a lie that fits their narrative, so who cares? But maybe it's not their fault. Maybe they're confused because Dr. Jill's always seen with that shuffling elderly man. She's a month away from going to Joe's press events wearing scrubs and carrying a bedpan. That's date night. Thank you. But that's the way it goes. The real fake news is actually NPR's approach to fake news. It's a false front to appear like they're tackling something when in fact they're just creating another wall of interference against real news hitting their viewers. It's another user interface to protect their listeners from the truth, much in the way Fox Security protects me from overzealous fans. You know, it's the teenage girls who are really aggressive. But I keep it classy. But just like the flimsy tote bags that NPR gives away, nobody's buying it. No matter how earnest and gentle your voices are when reporting it, we hear the BS loud and clear. Your response to fake news is just more fake news. Fact check that. Welcome to tonight's guest. Every time she speaks, I feel like I'm about to get grounded. Co-host of The Five, Judge Jeanine Pirro. And when he performs on cruise ships, they aim for icebergs. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. Oh, and speak of the devil. And she'll appear. Fox News contributor Cat Tim. And when he's under the weather, he just stands up. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Television Champion, Tyrus. Judge, how you doing? Happy Monday. How's life treating you? Everything good?
I don't like Mondays.
Yeah, you don't?
No, you don't like it either. You know what I was thinking when you were going through that open, which I thought was brilliant?
Oh, thank you.
Has there always been fake news, or is it just getting worse?
That was my question. That was my question. Is it
It
like...
was not.
Yes, here, let me find it.
You just picked it up from me.
Do you think fake news is a new phenomenon with social media, or has it always been around, but we've never really looked?
Oh, so what do you think?
I think that I bet you that Walter Cronkite and Harry Reasoner and all those folks probably trafficked in their own media assumptions too. Right?
I don't know. I don't want to believe that.
I know. You know, I mean, we were taught to believe that they were truly objective.
Yeah,
but we didn't
were
know
like
what
God.
objectivity was until Fox came in and showed how left-wing everybody was.
Yeah, and ripped down the curtain.
Yeah. I hate it when people do that to me.
I get it.
You know what I mean? Especially the shower curtain. Am I right, Judge? Can't control herself.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm saying. Don't even try to follow my train of thought today. You know, Jamie, you just got in on a red-eye flight, didn't you?
I did, and that intro just freaked me out where you said they would aim for icebergs.
Yes.
Because I used to really do comedy on Alaskan cruise ships sometimes.
Yeah.
And the best part of those is, like, the people are so old. Like, they're so old that you can be as offensive as you want as a comedian, and they can't walk out even if they want to.
Can they hear you?
Yeah.
That's half the battle if they can't.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this? All this fake news, this disinformation? Do you get the feeling that they're only going to look at one side of the coin?
I do get that feeling, and I also thought it was strange that they're like, oh, we're going to form this committee that's going to figure out which news stories are real and which ones aren't. And I was like, you probably should have been doing that.
Exactly.
Like, as a news program, you should be doing it the whole time. It's almost like, remember when there was COVID and then certain businesses were like, hey, because of COVID, like you go to a hotel, they go, hey, because of COVID, we're gonna wash the sheets. And you're like, what? You guys weren't washing the sheets?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to start wiping down the things we should have wiped down.
we're gonna.
Yeah, like a box of Cheerios.
Yes.
I read this terrible article. I shouldn't even bring it up because I can't stop thinking about it. And it said the dirtiest part of a hotel, it says the doorknob actually, did you know that? It said the doorknob has fecal matter on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Which doorknob?
The doorknob at the hotel, the handle of the door. And I was just thinking, like, fecal matter. How many things do you have to be carrying that in order to open the door, you use your butt?
Oh, that was good. That was
It's a good question, Tyrus. He raises a
I don't
very
know.
important...
I'd say maybe 6 things.
That was correct.
I can hold.
That
like
was correct.
I can hold 47 grocery bags in one hand. So
Yeah.
I would love to go shopping. I'd like to take you to Costco.
just because I'd put you in the cart.
Yes. That'd be so much fun.
You know, Greg, the question you didn't ask Judge, but Judge brought up, it didn't used to be there because news wasn't about ratings. It was about news.
That's
we
true.
had the crazy stuff when you were in line. There was like Bat-Faced Boy breeds with elephant, and the Inquirer, Zsa Zsa Gabor marries alien. We had all the crazy stories in those little papers. No one ever talks about how they were run out of business by like CNNs and stuff because they stole all the fun stories and the fake stories and stuff to get ratings and make money and have careers. And journalists were pushed out for people identifying as journalists, but really were just opinionated and one-sided. So that's I think when Walter was in, Walter wasn't getting sponsors and Walter wasn't getting paid to tell one side or the other, and he wasn't pushing an election and stuff. So it did change. Once it went to ratings, the game was over, and fake news is profitable.
I was the original source code for Bat Boy. Did you know that?
Yes, actually, I did. Yeah, you have the tattoo of it on the small of the top of your head.
That is true. That is true.
Only you could see it.
There you go.
Wow, that was unnecessary, Kat. You think
So hard. People are so mean to you.
It is. It's true. It's true. You know, I believe that also, I mean, we have to have some responsibility here in the fact that once news goes 24/7, you got to fill all these buckets. And a lot of these buckets are going to be filled with, gruel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my comment.
Yeah, except they won't fill them with gruel. They fill it with stuff that has been sensationalized that really is sometimes boring or not that big of a deal.
Yes.
I think that the most important thing to consider is probably just the motive in terms of when someone's telling you something. Like, do they have a motive to tell me this? What is it? Why? And also your own motive, because a lot of times when you want to believe something, you will.
Yeah. That's a very good point. You're talking about confirmation bias.
I sure am.
Yes.
Bucket of gruel, Gutfeld?
Bucket of gruel.
You changed. Normally it'd be a different bucket.
What does that mean? Oh, I get it. Yes, I've shifted away from certain topics to other
A
topics.
bucket of regular old gruel.
Yes. He's trying to egg me on
Yeah,
to say
he's gonna
something,
break.
Judge.
He'll break, yeah.
Everybody's mean to me. I don't know. What did I do?
It's just a bucket of gruel.
Yes. Up next is Dr. Jill, Joe's newest shill.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.